I have got a different kind of video for you today. We're going to be looking at two of the most popular lines of designer men's fragrances. We're going to be looking at the original and a whole bunch of flankers because both these lines have countless flankers. And I'm going to be giving you alternatives or dupes or clones for the original and the flankers. I'm talking about Paco Rabanne's 1 million line, one of my favorites, as well as Paco Rabanne's Invictus line, another one of my favorites. So before we get into this, remember to subscribe if you haven't. I've got videos coming out every couple days. Also give the video a like if you dig it, and let me know in the comments which of these have you tried, and do you even have a better recommendation for one of these fragrances? All right, we're going to start with the 1 million line, and I think we'll start with the original. It's just going to be easier for my brain that way. And the first one that I'm going to show you is a super cheapy alternative to the original. I do have the original. I have several of the 1 million fragrances and a whole bunch of clones of flankers and that kind of thing. And I can tell you that this one right here, which is an ultra cheapy, the small bottles like this are like $5, smells a lot like 1 million, but the honest truth is I prefer it to 1 million. I'm talking about this one right here, Cuba Royal Red. This little cigar bottle, you can get these about $5 each. You can get the big bottles for about $9 each, which I think are 100 mil. But this is, it's a little sweeter than 1 million, and it's a little, it's a little sweeter and a little spicier, but it still captures that wonderful sweet vanilla spiciness. 1 million is a fragrance that's got a bunch of cinnamon, a bunch of vanilla. You've got some tobacco, you've got some leather, you've got this mix of very rich dark notes, but you've also got a little bit of a fresh, clean vibe in the opening. There is a lot of complexity. We're used to 1 million because it's been out for so long, but there's a reason people went crazy over it. It's legitimately excellent perfumery. This one is less complex, but more sweet, more spicy, and very similar, and it came out like a decade before 1 million did. Cuba Royal Red, and it's usually called a clone of 1 million, even though it's probably more likely that 1 million cloned that one. All right, next, not necessarily in order, but another one of the flankers that came out would be the Privé flanker. A lot of people love this one. It had more emphasis on the tobacco, more emphasis on the cinnamon, and a great alternative to 1 million Privé is this one right here by Paris Corner's Pandora Scents, and it's just called Milano Privé. And they really captured the essence of that fragrance. There's a little bit of a musk in this fragrance. There's a good bit, again, of cinnamon and tobacco with some of that original 1 million base. There's some similarities, in my opinion, to Angel's Share, actually. And so if you want something in that vein, Milano Privé by Pandora Scents. Next up, I can't remember if it was in order or not, but one came before the other, would be 1 million Lucky. Another one that I do have that I've worn a lot. It was a different take on 1 million. There's this interesting plum note. There was some ozonic notes. There was a hazelnut note. It's just a very different take on 1 million, and a great alternative to 1 million Lucky, which is now discontinued and the prices are rising, is this one right here, Genius Metallic by Emperor Perfumes. And they did a fantastic job. The plum note in this is stronger. I believe it's grapefruit as well in the opening, which is stronger. And that sweet fruitiness lasts longer as well with this one. There's still the nutty vibe. There's less of the ozonic note in this one for sure. But to me, that makes it honestly more pleasant, more mass-pleasing, more versatile. So again, this one right here, Genius Metallic, it's still in that 85 to 90% similar realm, but there are some differences. All right, another one that came out that I really loved because it was quite different was 1 million Parfum. And that one was kind of a summer twist on 1 million. It had a solar notes vibe. It had a little bit of a coconut kind of vibe. It had tuberose, sort of a rose-smelling flower. And a great alternative to that one is this right here, Lattafa's Fakar Gold or Fakar Extrait. And this is basically, you know, solar notes usually means the smell of sun tanning oil. And when you put that together with that tuberose and a good dose of vanilla and some spiciness, this one actually has some spiciness that the original, the Parfum of 1 Million, does not have. You just mix all that together and it gives you this very, you know, tropical smelling, you know, like you're at the beach or laying out in the sun. Some guys would say that it's a little feminine. To me, it's perfectly masculine enough. It is unisex. But if you like that kind of solar notes vibe, this one is incredible. And it is a compliment monster, bona fide. Anything in this DNA always gets me a lot of compliments. That solar notes kind of sweet summer vibe. All right, let's see. I don't know if it's the next in order, but around the next in order would be 1 Million Elixir, which was a gorgeous vanilla bomb with some rose right at the center. And a good alternative to that one is Fragrance World's Al Rei. And this one came out under one of their Middle Eastern labels. I'll have to put the name on the screen. But this one is very close to the original. There's a little bit more of a synthetic vibe than the original, although both are synthetic smelling fragrances. But it is basically this vanilla and rose explosion that gives a very bubblegummy kind of sweetness. To me, it's addictive. I wore the heck out of this during the winter, even during the spring. Al Rei, they did an excellent job with this one. And if you like this kind of fragrance, you'll go back to it again and again. All right, one of the newer flankers was 1 Million Royal, and there's now a really good, readily available, affordable alternative to 1 Million Royal, and it's this one, Al Wataniya's Redea. And this one's kind of hard to describe because instead of vanilla, you've got benzoin. You've got some patchouli that's in the base of this one. You've got in the opening some citruses with some, I think it's bergamot and maybe orange or tangerine. And then you've got a little bit of spiciness from cardamom. So this one has some remnants of, you know, sweet, spicy from the original, but there's something quite distinct from the original as well. This one actually reminds me of another Paco Rabanne fragrance we're going to talk about, Invictus Victory Elixir. There is a good deal of similarities. If you like 1 Million Royal, this one right here is going to get the job done, Redea by Al Wataniya. So that's been 6 in the 1 Million line. We're going to go ahead and jump over to the Invictus line. And first I'm going to show you, just like I did with 1 Million, a super cheapy alternative to the original Invictus. And it's this one right here, Belcam, Parfums Belcam's Gladiator. And how they do these fragrances for $9, I'll never understand, but this one smells very similar to Invictus. There's more of an alcohol blast in the opening of this one that's gone after about 3 minutes. It's very similar fragrance profile, but this is about, you know, a 6-hour fragrance, whereas the original Invictus is about a 8+ hour fragrance on me, so keep that in mind. But again, Belcam Gladiator, a great cheap alternative you can throw in the gym bag or in the car and, bang it up and don't have to worry about a $100 fragrance getting busted. All right, one of the next flankers that came out was Invictus Aqua, and it was one that a lot of people really loved, and it has spawned a ton of copycats, just like the original Invictus. And a good alternative to 2016 Invictus Aqua, although they came out at the same time and thus not technically a dupe, Rasasi Hawass. And this is kind of an aquatic aromatic twist on the original Invictus. There's a violet leaf accord giving it an ozonic kind of lift and airiness. There is a touch of spiciness in this one that's actually not in Invictus Aqua. So if you like that bubblegummy sweetness, but you want to lighten it up a little bit with some aquatics and ozonics, Rasasi Hawass, good alternative to Invictus Aqua 2016. Another fragrance that's in a similar kind of vein as Invictus Aqua 2016. I actually like this one because there's a little bit of a departure from that DNA while holding on to the core of the fragrance. I'm talking about this one right here, Hollister Wave 2. They take that Invictus Aqua kind of DNA, but they put a little twist in it. There's a little bit of sort of a tropical fruitiness in this one. There's, again, that ozonic quality from Violet Leaf and even a touch of powderiness in this one. So if you want something that is a little different but in the same style, then Hollister Wave 2 is a great pickup for you. All right, one of the next flankers that came out that got a lot of hype because it was so different from the originals, I'm talking about Invictus Victory. It was a darker Invictus that smelled almost nothing like the original, and a good alternative to Invictus Victory is Maison Alhambra's Victorioso Victory. Some bottles say Nero. I think that was a regional thing, but it's basically a dark, resinous fragrance with some vanilla, with some incense. There's some aromatics in here, sort of a woody aromatic feel. It's not a super sweet fragrance, although it is a sweet fragrance. The one that came after it, though, is 3 times as sweet as this one, to my nose anyway. So dark, incensey, vanillic, almost leathery, although leather isn't a note. I think it's got some elemi, maybe a resin that gives it that kind of a leather feel. So again, Victorioso Victory by Maison Alhambra. And the next one in the line after this was Victory Elixir, which is an incredible fragrance. A lot of sweetness, a lot of power, and a good alternative to that one is this one right here, Collage Epic Artistique. And so they take that kind of vanilla, benzoin sweetness and they ramp it up quite a bit. They also add in some patchouli, giving it, a little bit more of an earthy kind of smoky vibe. But again, I want to stress there's a good deal of sweetness in this one. It's still got the same incensey vibe. It's still got kind of that resinous vibe, but a very similar kind of sweetness in the opening to this one as you get in 1 Million Royal. So again, a fragrance that if you liked Invictus Victory, but you want to go even sweeter for fall and winter, then this is a great alternative, Collage Epic Artistique. All right, so this has been, I think, 12-ish alternatives to these very popular fragrances. And just because something is popular doesn't mean that it's not good. And there are some fragrances in this list that I just mentioned that are still quite unique and things that I like and I wear. But I want to know down in the comments, have you tried any of these or other alternatives? Because a lot of these have a lot of dupes. Let me know what you think of them. Also, remember to subscribe to the channel and give the video a like if you like it. I am Justin. This is Sillage Scents.